Hey guys, welcome to another video. Now, today we're going to be talking about something that I think is quite interesting and also could be quite helpful. And that is how to save money on flights, right? It's coming to that, we've just had summer and it's expensive. You may be thinking of planning next year's trip. So, I thought I'd jump in here and give you some tips on how to save money and save you one to home. So, first tip, be flexible. If you can, right, obviously if you're traveling for a business meeting or you only have a limited amount of time off, then yeah, this may not work. But if you can, try and be flexible. Airlines will often lower the price on days when they don't sell as well. And so if you really want to get those great deals, be prepared to be a bit flexible with the dates that you travel. Now, if you're thinking that you'd quite like to go somewhere, but you haven't got any concrete plans, one thing you can do, very easy, completely free, is set fare alerts. What those allow you to do is for you to see when flights are cheap and you can book them so that you're able to take advantage of those best flights. Because otherwise, you can kind of get lucky or unlucky with what deals you can get. But if you have the fare alerts, you will get those deals first. Next, fly out of different airports, right? To consider flying out or into a less popular airport. So, next tip is don't discount a less popular airport or an airport that's a bit further out. Yes, Ryanair do sometimes take the piss with this, but you can actually get some great deals if, for instance, instead of flying into Rome, Fiumicino, if you fly instead into Ciampino, the cost is normally half the price. Although that only really works if you're flying from Moscow, which no one is, or if you're flying on Ryanair, because all of airlines don't fly there. Now, the reason for this is that the big airports like Heathrow, Gatwick, big airports like Heathrow, Charles de Gaulle in Paris, Frankfurt, those have really high fees for the airlines to stop and basically for them to park. And they pass those fees on to you in the form of a higher fare. That is why you will never ever see a budget flight, WestJet aside, at Heathrow. Because most airlines aren't interested, because it's not only in London and also it is really expensive to land there. So maybe consider using some of those airports that are a bit further out. Okay, next up, clear your cookies. Now, this may sound weird, and when you're on the internet, right, you'll probably see an alert asking you to approve some cookies. You don't, right? And no, most people, some included, just blindly go, yeah, fine, right? Here's the thing. Cookies work by saving a little, so basically how it works is they save the web page, so you can find it again, and a little file which says, a little file that tells that company that you've been there before. Now, with airlines and train tickets and bus tickets and theatre tickets and basically anything where you're buying something, if you go back, that is you, if you check our website, come away from said website, and then check back in, that tells that website that you're interested. And the price goes through the roof, right? So clear your cookies, that way you can get better deals. Also internet related, you can also use a VPN. So if you pretend to be from Vietnam, for instance, where the cost of living is significantly lower, then you could get a better deal, although I have tried it, it's a bit hit and miss. Next up, be open to layovers. Now, the cheapest flights, you will often see them. So cheapest flights from, say, here, where I am in Newcastle, to Milan, you will see the direct flights, right? Those are generally quite expensive. But you may also see cheaper flights where you go from Newcastle to Dublin, we're there for 9 hours, go from Dublin to Manchester, we're there for a couple of hours, and then finally on to Milan. it is not worth doing that particular trip because it takes like 29 hours, and by that you could probably get a bus. But you can do that, and it can be worth it if you're flying more long haul, right? And if it's all, and you get to see another city. Who doesn't want that, right? This is especially good if you're flying from Europe into the United States or into Asia, right? Now, obviously, if you're flying to Australia, you will have to get a layover because there aren't many planes that can do that journey in one. So you will have to stop over. But even if not, who doesn't like a trip to Singapore, right? So make sure that you don't put on the thing on the airline comparison sites direct only, because you'll only get the most expensive options, and layovers can be quite fun. Although make sure they're in somewhere interesting and try not to get one overnight, because otherwise you won't actually be able to see anything. Also, if you are doing that as a general rule, if you're in the city less than 7 hours, unless like the airport is right next to the city, it's never going to be worth actually travelling into the city, because you'll only get there for like an hour and then you have to come back, right? So if you are going to do layovers to see more cities, make sure they're longer than 7 hours. Yeah, airline loyalty programs. Now, if you want to take one flight a year, this isn't for you, but it can be interesting anyway, right? But airlines have loyalty programs, right? In the same way that even McDonald's has them now, right? And they can be worth joining, right? They're often free to join, and you can build up miles and perks, and those miles could turn into a free upgrade or even a free flight. Although you do have to travel quite frequently for that, right? And for any Canadians watching, we're not talking about air miles cards, which are a complete scam, right? We're talking just literally about the miles. Now, if you spend 30 grand getting those miles, you're not going to get 30 grand's worth of stuff. You probably get like a grand's worth of stuff. So be aware of that. But if you fly frequently, you will save some money. Okay, and next up, book in advance. Now, I'm not saying book a year in advance, right? Because that's when everyone books, right? And yes, I know I am releasing this about a year before, about 9 months before people would start booking. But my advice would be to book 6 to 8 weeks in advance. That gives you the balance of, one, it's earlier, so it's in advance, it's always cheaper in advance, and availability, right? There will also be high amounts of availability, but it will also be more affordable, right? Because airlines will start looking at lowering the price slightly to fill the seats, right? They might not make as much money selling a cheaper ticket, but they will make no money on an empty seat, right? So that's one thing to be aware of. Book slightly early. Don't book like a year in advance. Book just a couple of months in advance. This is also true of trains. If you book a couple of months in advance, you'll get a better deal than if you turn up on the day, right? And try not to book a flight on the day you want to travel, because those prices will be ridiculous. So you can sometimes get a really good deal last minute, but I wouldn't count on it. And lastly, follow people on social media, right? Airlines, all of them have social media accounts. Make sure you follow them, because they will be able to give you some great ways to, they will be able to give you some great deals. So another thing you can do, right, which, let's be honest, you're watching us on YouTube, you're probably doing this already, follow airlines and follow travel professionals on social media. They will announce flights and special deals through their social media. If you see it on those bobbing phone, and you can get some of the best deals. There are also some like travel blog sort of things. Okay, so that's it from me this week. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.